Welcome back. Well, I was looking at the headlines today and they are not good. In India, a former Jehovah's Witness bombs a convention and assembly. So we're going to get right into the details, but first of all, let's look at where we're at in the world. We're here in India. Kochi is the place. And go in on that. This is the area, this town here, this community. So when I went to jw.org, what do we have here? The facts is 1.6 billion in India, 56,000 roughly ministers, so that would be publishers, they would call that. Even children are publishers, so that could be one of those numbers. 947 congregations and 1 to 25,000 ratio. So that's a pretty high ratio. We think in other countries it's 1 to 300. Such as here in Canada. So there's a lot of most people in India wouldn't even know a Jehovah's Witness. 1 in 25,000. 1 in 300, well, yeah, everyone's going to know because at work and stuff like that. Now, I went to the JW website and looked at the overview of India, and they report that they've established presence there since 1905. They've established an office in 1926, and they were legally registered in 1978. So they worked a lot of years without legal registration, roughly 50 years. And they had to go to the Supreme Court. 1977 they went to Supreme Court. And as a result, they've had a lot of issues. It says here in their own website, as a result, Jehovah's Witnesses have been a target of over 150 violent mob attacks since 2002. Local authorities often compound the problem because they do not adequately protect the victims or prosecute the attackers. Now, keep that statement in mind because we're going to look at this statement, and I think that's going to change in India. We're going to get right into the article. I'm going to change my screen here. I think I might have to. So we're looking at a Reuters article on this, and we'll look at two articles. And this one is India Police Probe Bomb Blasts Killed 2 in Kerala. So there's the pictures. Looks like it's outside of a convention site. I'm not sure if this is before the convention. People evacuated from the bomb probably. And then there's the hospital. So we're going to look at this article here a little closer and see what it has to say. Now, Kochi, India, a man claiming to be a former member of the Jehovah's Witnesses was detained for questioning about his alleged involvement in setting off homemade bombs at a meeting of the group in the southern India state, killing 2 women and injuring dozens of other people. Now, the second woman died, adding that 17 people were in an intensive care and 5 in a critical condition. Now, the health minister reported that a 12-year-old girl had 95% burns, was also in critical state. Now, the perpetrator was Dominic Martin, and he posted a video on Facebook claiming responsibility for the attacks before surrendering shortly after noon at a police station about 40 kilometers from the site. Now, Dominic is still being questioned, and he is in custody, but they haven't arrested him so far. So the police are still trying to ascertain the veracity of his statement. They say it will take some time, and we're not in a position to confirm his involvement right now, they're saying. And the incident took place during a Jehovah's Witness convention about 10 kilometers northeast of the Kochi city. And a spokesman for Jehovah's Witnesses told the Reuters that Martin was not a registered member of the group, Now, have you heard of that as an ex-Jehovah's Witness? I haven't heard that there was any registration. I didn't know we were registered. So what I think this Jehovah's Witness is trying to spin this is that he was disfellowshipped. Quite simply, he's not registered. He's not upstanding, or he's not accepted. So he's to deregister. They disfellowship you in this religion or shun you. In my case, there was no judicial meeting, but they still shun you. So that's just how this Martin guy spun it as a registration. So this Martin guy from the Jehovah's Witness said about 2,300 people attended the 3-day event, but he wasn't aware if Martin was there. And he confirmed that there were at least 2 big explosions, the JW spokesman. Martin said in a near 6-minute Facebook video, he said, "I'm taking full responsibility for this. I carried out the bomb explosion. I'm making this video to make it clear why I did this." And that video is no longer there, apparently. It was taken down. So Martin said that he believed the Jehovah's Witness teachings were anti-national about 6 years ago, and that he had tried to talk to the group about changing their views. Preliminary investigation showed that an improvised explosive device was used, and the minister said, "We're taking action." There's 20 members investigating this. And the explosions occurred seconds after the end of a prayer as part of the day's event. The first blast took place in the middle of the hall, and second later, 2 more explosions simultaneous on either side of the hall. So that's the end of that article. Now, I do have a short video on this. I will play it right about now. Now, I'm only going to play a few seconds of this video. I will post it. Everything will be posted below if you want to watch it all. It's a 2-minute video. Someone took it, I guess, inside. So you can watch the rest of this video if you wish. It's I'll put a link to it below. So it just kind of plays the same old. I kind of was wondering where the fire extinguishers were, but I seen a guy trying to put the fire out with bottled water or something. So it makes you wonder, but we're going to get probably more news on this coming up. I'm going to take you to another news article, a local one, and I'll show you what's headlining in that district. Just bear with me. Okay, so this is the local paper. It's India Today News Desk, and it talks about this blast. The chief minister announces a 20-member probe team. This is huge headlines all over India. Now I'm just going to scroll to the bottom, scroll back up. It says basically the same thing we read, but there's a lot of headlines all the way down. So this is when the blast started. They closed all the borders, and it talked, all the different articles were updated. There's 2 new updates, it says. So this is continually being updated. Now I want to read one part of it here. We covered pretty well everything on it, but I wanted to read this one here. And this one here, very cowardly and condemnable, Congress, from the Congress. So the Congress tweeted the district, and they said the explosion in Kerala is very cowardly and condemnable. It's a condemnable incident. We pray to God to grant peace to the virtuous souls and speedy recovery to the injured. The entire Congress family stands with you. There should be no place for such violent ideology in a civilized and sensitive society. This is an appeal to the government to take strict action against such anti-social elements who create violence, hatred, and fear in the society. So let's think about that, folks. The Jehovah's Witness religion, and I can speak from experience because I was in it for 30 years and I'm an ex-member, but the Jehovah's Witness religion is about fear. It's about antisocial. It's about disfellowshipping, shunning. It is not tolerant. It believes, here India has the most faiths in the whole world. They're the most tolerant. They tolerate all kinds of faiths in their country. And Jehovah's Witnesses go in, and all the other religions are from the devil. Basically, in a nutshell, they're evil. They are part of the wicked system. They're part of Babylon the Great. And very soon, any day now, they're all going to be destroyed along with the governments and everything else. Well, here the governments are all in helping the Jehovah's Witness, helping to put out the fire, helping this organization. But one of its own members turned against them. Why? That's a good question. And I think that's a question that this Congress is going to get answers to. Because I'm going to reread this. They said there should be no place for such violent ideology. Well, if you want to talk about hatred and violent ideology, just look at the Armageddon pictures with any Jehovah's Witness publication. On their latest stuff, they're embedding this fear into their members. It's violent ideology in a civilized and sensitive society. There's no toleration at the Jehovah's Witness end because they teach that they're against the world. That's what they teach. And we know, you and I know, that's wrong. And that's why we're on this side of the fence and we're fighting for change within this religion. So what we want to talk about to any XJW out there is we're all dealing with some form of anger when we come out of that religion. Why? Because we're shunned. We're violently shunned. We're put in solitary confinement. Heck, our inmates in prisons, they get to see daylight and visit with their friends once a day, for an hour. We're put in solitary confinement for life. And then our children are programmed to believe that we're from the devil. Whether it's our children or whether it's the mom and dad on the outside, the children are programmed and taught that the watchtower is God. So, this religion does have a lot of problems. All over the world, we see problems. So it's not just here in India, but I am so glad that the Congress is getting involved, and they said there's no such place for violent ideology in a civilized, sensitive world. This is an appeal to the government to take strict action against such antisocial elements. So you want to talk about antisocial? Well, if everybody is part of the world and they're evil, only the Jehovah's Witnesses are good. So that means in that country there's only 57,000 good people. 1 to every 25,000. So you have 25,000 evil people but one good person. That's kind of what the religion teaches. So this is causing problems, and they go on to talk about hatred and fear in a society. Well, that's what the Jehovah's Witness religion's about. It promotes hatred and fear in a society. So they've nailed it here. And what's happening, we have these people that get on the outside. They don't know how to deal with their anger. We don't know as governments and as countries what kind of cult indoctrination is in the people that leave the religion. So I believe, and we've said it on this channel, is all Jehovah's Witnesses are treated like soldiers. And when they come out, they're still soldiers. They still believe they're soldiers. So there's an indoctrination, deprogramming period that has to happen to get all of this stuff out of their minds. I had to go through that, and it's a long process, and it's still ongoing. So it'll be interesting to see where this goes in the future, folks. And what do we have else here? It looks like that's it. That brings us to the end of all the articles. We'll keep you posted. There's updates all the time on this. I gave you a little bit of my opinion on this, and I'm sure we're going to hear reports from around the world. And when we look around the world, we've just seen in the last year the shootings there from an ex-member. That's being investigated, still being investigated. We see a bombing in El Salvador at a Kingdom Hall. No one was hurt. We see all kinds of shootings. We see shootings where ones have been shot out in the field ministry. And it's interesting as we watch this organization go from bad to worse on the news. So folks, stay with us if you haven't subscribed. Subscribing helps the channel, and if you can share it or push our videos forward, that certainly helps as well. But as we say always, until next time, keep living your day with love, because when we come out of that religion, we have to replace the anger with something. And that's one of the first things, I believe, the strongest medicines that we can do in our life is do something that's going to create love in our life. So give that some thought. Put your comments in the channel. We appreciate the comments, and thanks for watching the show today. We'll see you next time. Oh, hello. My name is Vern. Join the channel. We cover JW World News, and we give you the rest of the story. Today, we're going to the Watchtower, and we have lives on Tuesday nights and Saturdays, and an excellent community. So join the channel and watch as we crash into the Watchtower. Here it is. I see it coming. Woo! Join us as we report in on the Watchtower.